thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Innocent until it's been a while since I last. I listen to a lot of music, man. I don't pretend to be any type of musical person or artist or anything. Definitely can't sing, man. Y'all be flattering me and flirting and stuff, talking about my voice, man. My voice is very regular. Shout out to y'all, man. We are back. I am absolutely disgusted with the media, man. So, you know, I always prep for these videos, man. I go over y'all comments. Your comments are like my primary source of information for these cases, for this case. You know, I want to interject real quick and say I'm praying for whatever's going on. I think with Israel and Hamas, man, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I just see that's getting a lot of news coverage. So I don't want to pretend like I don't see it and I'm ignoring it. I'm realizing that that's affecting a lot of human lives, and I always talk about the humanity of situations. So I don't know. I'm not on the side. I'm not political. I'm not getting into all that. I don't know enough about what's going on to say who's right or wrong. I'm not trying to prompt y'all to dive down that rabbit hole. I'm just saying, either way humans are being affected, it could easily be your family or mine, your loved ones or mine, your circle of influence and compassion or mine. So I'm just, you know, highlighting the fact that I'm aware of that situation without knowing anything about what's going on or the details, and I'm praying for everybody who's involved, right or wrong. It just flashed back to the last video, Zaina's voice, where I mentioned, you know, was her mom a mother, or was she just someone who's trying to, you know, get attention, tragedy attention? You know, there are people out there like that. When tragedies happen, they want to be the ones diving in the coffin, acting like, you know, they don't know how they're going to go on, because they just want the attention that comes with sympathy. And, you know, a lot of people resonated with that, and we all agreed, you know, I didn't see anybody that disagreed, that whether she was a mom or not during Zaina's life, if she was the worst mother in the world, you know, if she has an epiphany and she wakes up and says, hey, man, you know what, I was wrong and I want to do better now, then if she's alive, then God has afforded her that opportunity. I don't see how it's right for us to deny that to her. And I just use that theory, that analogy for every human being, man. Like, we've all made mistakes. We've all misstepped in life. And if God has given us another day, another moment to try to be better people, then I don't see how anybody has a right to deny us that, you know what I mean? And I think we should pursue that. So I just, like I said, I'm tying all that together with what's going on over there, because I don't know, man. And even talking about it, my heart breaks. But back to the media, man. I'm disgusted, man. You guys are my primary source of information for these cases, and then I go and I look at some of the court documents and I see what other people are saying. You know, I might watch a video or two. Hey, Casey, man, you were gonna fight. I told you that in the comments. I'm gonna tell you why later. You know, I may look at some videos you guys send, and then I may venture over to Court TV or Law and Crime, and, you know, for the legal expertise, you know, I go over there to the lawyer who knows, and maybe one or two other people. Then I try to put it all together, and I come with this old, whatever you want to call me, man, version of a summary of what I have based on the information. And so the video that I watched prior to making this video was Court TV, man. The guy Chris Kumo, bro, you was a real clown. You know what I mean? You's a real clown, bro. And I'm about to, you know, kind of scratch at your soul and spirit a little bit, even though you'll never see this video. But before I do, I want to say something else. May I say this? Forgive me if I'm out of line for saying this. You know, I'm going to be a little extra compassionate and sensitive here, right? What I notice about true crime, and correct me if I'm wrong, is, number one, it's overpopulated by women, meaning men don't really involve themselves in true crime as much as far as being verbal about it. Now, I'm quite aware, you know, people who see me and they ask, hey, what are you doing over there all the time? I tell them I create content, then I tell them about my different platforms, and they always resonate with the true crime. And they say I watch it, and it's a lot of men too. But men aren't as vocal. I know there are some male voices, and I'm going to be honest with you, in my estimation, they speak like females, even though they're men. But women are more vocal in true crime. And that being the case, what I see is, I see a lot of you guys more consumed by it, conflicted by it, and emotionally tied to it. And what I also see is a lot of you guys say, hey, man, I got to take a break because this is absolutely taking over my life. And I know the feeling. As a masculine man, I know the feeling. I'm not one of those dudes who imitate women or talk like women or move like women. I'm a masculine man, and I'm proud of that. But I can resonate with this case or true crime or just anything in life consuming me. And I'm saying all that to say, ladies, I see you saying this, and I'm glad I see you saying this. And if you're not saying this and you're not doing this, I'm going to encourage you, not demand, because I can't. You're grown as hell. You do what you want to do. I'm going to encourage you to do what I myself do, what I've seen several other ladies say they do, and what I think is healthy for all of us. Take a break sometime, man. Like, you have to be accountable for your life, for your well-being, your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, your emotional well-being, your psychological well-being, all of the whatever you want to insert their well-beings. You have to be the one that's accountable for that. You can't lean on anybody else, your husband, your boyfriend, your mother, your father, your kids. You have to jump in the driver's seat and say, let me trust God and let God lead me in a direction where I'm making sure I'm putting my best foot forward into being well. And a lot of times that does involve just stepping away from these cases. So I just want to throw that out there. If you're not cognizant of that, because, for some reason we do have this idea that women are more emotional. I don't necessarily buy into that. You got to catch me on one of my other platforms to hear me go into detail about that. I think humans are emotional. We just display those emotions in different ways. But women, that part of your emotions, like, just grab it and say, is this what's best for me right now? Because I'm pretty sure, even if you are living for yourself, you are important, but most of us, you included, you probably have other people who need you, depending on you, loving you and whatever, and so therefore you need to be your best self. So I'm just going to reiterate one more time, if you're not one of the women that step away to make sure that you're well emotionally and mentally, then think about doing that. Chris Kumu, man, yo punk, can't say it. I ain't gave up on y'all, man. It's just nothing going on, man. Brian is going to court this week, and is going to ask for the charges to be dismissed. For some reason, Chris Kumu has this idea that she's going to do it because his alibi. And then he go and watch the last court TV video if you think I'm lying on his PA boy. I can't call him no man. Lord, forgive me. You don't act like a man, homie. You act like you have an agenda that's destructive to not only manhood, but humanity. Why do you set forth this idea that have you even seen Ann Taylor before in your life, Negro? Are you high? I mean, come on, guys. What kind of new drugs they got? I know what kind of drugs the kids are on. I'm hip. I pay attention to what's going on in the world. I'm black. I watch hip-hop. I don't listen to the new rap. I keep up with the culture. But I know black culture, hip-hop culture isn't the only culture out there. You got other cultures, but, all these kids pretty much doing the same damn thing. So, I'm kind of hip to what they got going on. But what drugs are these adults on out here, Nancy Disgrace? I ain't seen nothing from Ashley Banfield. I don't watch them clowns, Brian Enton. We're all human. I pray y'all wake up and have an epiphany of righteousness. But what kind of drugs are these adults on out here, bro? What in the hell? Have you ever seen Ann Taylor in your life? This guy says, well, I think the defense that they're going for is they're just going to say that it's an alibi defense, and he's the only one that can attest to the fact that he was out driving. Negro! In what world do you think Ann Taylor is coming to court like the Idaho prosecution office is coming? The prosecution, the state is the one that show up in court like that, underprepared and stuttering. When the hell have you seen Ann Taylor? Ann Taylor don't even talk until it's time to go to court. And then she just, I'm not hyping nothing. If it wasn't true and if it wasn't what I observed with my own eyes, I wouldn't say it. Ann Taylor don't talk until it's time to come to court. And then she step up to the plate and she don't hit nothing but one swing, one pitch home runs. I ain't told a lie yet. I'm pretty sure she's gonna falter or fail. We're all human somewhere. Hope it isn't in a crucial moment, a critical moment. But damn it, for you to get on court TV, and you do stupid stuff like this all the time. You say ignorant stuff like this all the time, and many of us do, me included. But bro, you get on court TV and say they're gonna come and they're gonna say his defense is an alibi defense, and then you try to get your panelists, the people you got up there with you, all of them looked at you like you was stupid. If you think I'm lying, go to court TV and watch it now. He said that, well, it seems like the defense they're going to have is an alibi defense to say he was out driving all night long and the only one that can corroborate the story is him. Don't you agree? This is literally what he said to his three panelists, and all of them looked at him like he was stupid, and one of them, a woman, literally told him, are you high, bro? No way in hell. Ann Taylor's primary defense very well might be the fact that the prosecution has presented no damn case. That's what the lady told you, Negro. You high, bro? I don't, man. It can't just be all about money. So it makes me wonder, like, where are are these people's hearts at? Because at the end of the day, we're all human. When that camera goes off, and do you even look at yourself in the mirror? What allows you to get on TV and say stuff like that when you have other adults sitting right there with you, checking you about the stupidity? You don't never watch yourself back. Am I the only? I know I'm not the only one who does that. Like when you make a video, you say something, you have a conversation with someone, you rehash it later, and you're like, what made me say that? Like, do these journalists or pseudo-journalists ever do that, bro? Your whole agenda is saying that Brian is guilty. Then you go into saying that his alleged aunt said all these things that we've heard the aunt say. You know what? I'll give you credit for this. You talked about the aunt saying that he had a wonderful childhood. His parents were wonderful. His dad was wonderful. His mom was wonderful. You don't think he's a bad person. I didn't hear that in the other reports. This is literally my first time hearing that. So then you went into that and you said alleged, but then after that, I'm pretty sure you did that to avoid lawsuit or liability. Because after that, everything you said was his aunt. You said it like it was true, which leads me to believe that you only threw the alleged part in there to avoid liability. Because literally after that, everything you said was negative, and it was about what his aunt said negatively about Brian and his family and the circumstances surrounding his death and the deaths, his arrest, and his crime. And then you asked the lady, hey, don't you agree with me about the defense that they're going to present, saying that his alibi is going to be their defense? The lady said, I can't even ask. She literally said this, go and watch Court TV's last interview. Your panelists were looking at you like you were stupid. She said, I can't even go into that. I'm stuck on the aunt. Do you want to be involved or do you not want to be involved? Because you can't act like you got all this damn information about Brian and the family, but then you want to play anonymous and hide in the background. Which is it? Are you anonymous? We don't know who the hell you are, person, and you could be just saying shit to get on TV and get attention or whatever the hell your motives are? Or are you someone who actually knows what's going on and you can tell us and then you can verify why we should believe you? That's what the lady said, bro. I ain't even got it to my spiel yet. And now, a segue, so the video isn't too long, we already at 12 minutes. You got these same people. It's always the same suspects, man. You got Court TV, you got News Demon Nation, you got Law and Crime. Probably throw some Dateline in there. All of y'all are petitioning in the court to have your cameras in the courtroom for Brian's next hearing. I'm torn about this, man. Initially, you guys were saying, hey, man, we need the cameras there so we can see what's going on to keep everybody, hold them accountable, right? And I'm like, no, because they're just going to use the cameras to sway the public's opinions and the potential jury pool's opinions about Brian. That's all they ever do. They never, even Chris Cuomo this time, we have these interviews with witnesses and they were telling us that Brian was this and Brian was that, all negative. No, sir, what you do is, and this is why I don't trust statistics or sources y'all always trying to cite, what you do is you get a group of people who are going to say what you want to hear and you ignore everybody who's not saying what you want to hear. Anybody that contests your narrative, you don't interview them. You don't put their interviews on TV. I did this in Savannah, Georgia. I was minding my business. I was going to drop stuff off at Goodwill. A lady pulled up on me and she asked me about some parenting techniques. I'm not a traditional parent. I don't believe in traditional roles. Shout out to y'all that do. You know how I feel. Everybody got a right to their own opinion. You're free to disagree with me. I don't believe in that. You have to catch me on my other platform to see how I feel about that. This is my first time being interviewed by local media. The interview never came out, and I'm knowing why, because I don't give traditional answers. I wish I would have took my camera out and recorded that day. I'll put clips of it in here with y'all. I tell you how I feel, not how pop culture says you should feel. And that's what y'all do, bro. Y'all just interview people who give a pop culture narrative, and then you put that out, and anybody who can test that pop culture narrative with facts. Because we know about these people who are saying, nah, we didn't have those type of experiences with Brian. Y'all don't want to talk about them. So, I don't know. I'm still conflicted. One day I'm saying cameras in the courtroom. One day I'm saying ain't no way in hell because these people just trying to skew the public potential jury pool's view about this case. I don't know. But I am, and segue again, Judge John, bro. I was so high on you if you go back and watch my first videos. That's why I got to quit assessing people so quickly. I was so high on cuz. Now I'm wondering if you just need to, what's that word? Excuse, recluse, or rescue yourself from the case, bro. Because I do think you have a great spirit. I just think you're one of those appropriate people. You're going to do the appropriate thing. And sometimes being appropriate isn't always the righteous and the just thing to do. Sometimes you got to swim against the current, big dog. And I don't think you have it in you. I don't think you have the tenacity in you. From what I've seen, Judge John, it's a lot of stuff going on in this case where you should have just put your foot down. I mean, There's nothing else to discuss here. I said what I said, and we don't see you do it. We see you kind of teeter-tottering. We see you staying out of it as much as you can. I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel about the cameras, about Judge John. I think he's a judge that tries to be fair, but when fairness calls for going against the grain, I haven't seen him show the gall. He doesn't have the, what's that, how you say it in Spanish, the cajon, you know what I mean, the testicles to do it. Sometimes manhood calls for manhood. Sometimes situations call for manhood. If you were a female judge, it would still say, sometimes situations call for womanhood. It just calls you to say whatever you're saying or do whatever you're doing with your chest out. And I haven't seen chest out from Judge John. Because if I did, I would just say, yo, bro, why don't you just support responsible journalists and camera people to be in the courtroom? I don't even think he has the heart and the toughness to do that. He just kind of, I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm over the edge on this one and just rambling and saying nothing. Let me get to my notes, man. I'm gonna wind it down, and I'm just gonna give you my notes, and we're gonna get out of here, man. I already said, ladies, take care of yourself. I literally have that written down. Women, take care of yourself. That was something I definitely wanted to say to y'all, because I see, once again, y'all being more vocal about being tied to these cases than a lot of men are, and anxiety and those type of things, stress and those type of things physically. Take away from my livelihood. So just take care of yourself. I already said that. I went back and I watched the videos. I made a video about this and I got a little too outraged, so I'm probably not going to put it out. But I watched the videos of the cops going to the residence, 1122 King Road. And I watched in one of the videos, they went to a residence where there were a bunch of males first. And then it seemed to me that they volunteered to go to the 1122 King Road house. And I think that's when Kaylee came out. Was that Kaylee, guys? I'm sorry. They be looking all alike to me. Rest in peace. I don't mean no disrespect. Came out of the sliding glass doors and spoke to them. I liked her, man. I liked her presentation. I like, how she carried herself. I like how she presented herself. That was like what I saw from her that day. I'm going to be honest with you. I saw more, if I may use this word, manhood in her that day talking to the cops than I have in Judge John and Judge in certain situations. I'm gonna be real with you. If that was Kaylee, whichever one of those young ladies that it was, came out and spoke to the cop that day, I saw more manhood and maturity and tenacity in that young lady than I did. And I'm not trying to insult the judge, man. I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just describing what I see. Than I did and I do in him in certain situations. But what I noticed about that incident was, and I'm gonna talk about the other one where they went there and talked to Zainab, Lord willing. But I remember the cop saying, correct me when I'm wrong, guys. Since we talked to this one house, which was the house where the young man was at, let's be fair and go down here and speak to this other house. Now, sir, when y'all went to talk to Zainab, y'all said y'all had already been at the house twice because you had gotten calls from the house twice. But when you left the young man's house, you seemed to be saying, hey, we're just going to go over here as a precursor. So is this another one of those situations where cops are lying? Because we already have questions about law enforcement's involvement in this case on the wrong side of it. I'm just a little confused about why y'all went to that house when you talked to, if that was Kaylee, in the back at the sliding glass door, versus when y'all went and spoke to Zainab, y'all said y'all had already gotten 2 calls and y'all had, but I think you said you spoke to Maddie, so maybe that was Maddie. Y'all just gotta forgive me, man. I'm kind of old and they be looking the same to me. I don't know. But it doesn't change the fact that you seem to say you're going to volunteer to go to the murder house, versus when you talked to Zainab, you said you had already got 2 calls. Maybe I'm just missing something there, guys. I looked at every video that popped up, under my search available. But when you came out there, you did something. When you went to the house and talked to Kaylee, Maddie, whichever one of the young ladies that was, you did something else that puzzled me, sir, that I didn't see you do with the young man. You took a picture of her license. Now, no false accusations included. If you know me, you know I police the police. I'm a cop watcher. I'm fairly familiar with, the most basic rights we have as American citizens. That just stood out to me that you took a picture of her license. Number one, you didn't suspect her of no crime, and this is another reason why I'm probably not going to put the video out. I was kind of educating you guys. She had no reason whatsoever. She's a free American citizen. I know some of us have these ideas that we're supposed to bow down to law enforcement. Listen, if they don't have a warrant, number one, they don't even have a right to be on a legal right. Cops operate under legal authority. Where there's no crime being committed or no law enforcing their actions, they don't have any authority over you. So if they don't have a legal right, a warrant or a crime or, external circumstance to be at your residence, you can ask them to get off your property. Hell, you can curse them out and tell them to get off your property. It's your prerogative. They don't have a legal right to be there, therefore they have no legal authority over you. And they definitely didn't have a right to ask any resident of that house, including her, for their ID. They have to have what's called reasonable articulable suspicion to ask you for your ID. It's your Fourth Amendment constitutional right to remain secure in all of your private possessions, including your identity. So for them to just show up at their residence and then ask for ID, number one, they do that because they know most citizens don't know their rights. But number two, like I said, I'm not going to linger here long, but it stood out to me. It doesn't stand out to me that y'all just went up to these people's house and you knowing that they're young and they probably don't know that they ain't got to give their ID. Zaina didn't even have the ID to y'all when she did. So that doesn't stand out to me because y'all do that to people all the time because most people think they're stopping ID clauses, laws, states in America. There's literally not one. Not a law, not a clause, not a state. There's nowhere in America where cops can just stop you and say, show me your ID legally. They can always ask, but you can lawfully refuse as a free American citizen. So that didn't stand out to me because I know that's a tactic y'all use. But the fact that you took a picture of ID, it just resonates with me, no false accusations included. And when they spoke to Zaina, that stood out to me. Because Zaina's character that day was a little different than what I pictured her to be. I'm all for that, man. Let's talk about the cops removed the evidence at the beginning and then went back. I'm seeing this in the comments. I made a video about this. I had to take it down because they sent me the copyright strikes for the audio, the music I use in the background, the soundtrack. I'm probably going to put it back up one day. But I talked about this, man. Y'all, if y'all are involved, bro, it's not out of the realm of possibility that y'all use y'all legal authority to be on that scene, to be, air quotes, investigating from the beginning to the end when y'all, air quotes, sent cleaning crews in there to say, hey, man, you're going to remove the evidence of your involvement in this case, and that's what y'all were doing the entire time. I just want to throw that back out there as a refresher. I don't have any new rabbit holes, guys. I'm just going over what we already know to have happened factually, and then I'm giving you my opinion about it because somebody put this in the comment, and I told them, you're on the same page as I am, and probably many people, other people are. The entire time that they were going in there, air quotes, investigating that house, were they actually just removing the evidence of law enforcement's involvement in that crime? And it's very possible because that would be the perfect circumstance for them to do that. Not many people would even stop to question it. They're supposed to be there. They have a right to be there. Them coming in and out of the house with items, whatever, is who is going to look at that as suspicious? That's what happens in every case. There's evidence. They're gathering evidence. Were they gathering evidence of investigating the crime, or were they gathering evidence to remove the evidence of their involvement in a crime? That is the question that remains, man, for me. Brian's phone pinging in the area and the sheath with his DNA on it. This is what I wrote down. Did they find Brian's phone pinging in the area first and then plant the sheath with his DNA on it because his DNA was already in the system? I don't know. This is something else that the lady, she said on Law and Crime, and because I'm non-biased, I have to throw that out there. She mentioned that she disagreed with Chris Kumu that, they were going to use an alibi defense. She said, no, what I think they're going to use is the fact that the prosecution hasn't presented a case that Brian is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And then she went into the fact that the DNA evidence is the strongest evidence they have, and the possibility that Ann, I might like to call her, well, no, that's her right name. I always call her Ann Koberg, but Ann Taylor is going to challenge that in many ways, and one of those ways being that it was planted. But her take was that that's going to be difficult because Brian wasn't a suspect when they found the DNA evidence in the knife sheath. Well, I mean, I put that out there for you, young lady, but let's back up a little bit. He wasn't a suspect publicly. But if they frame this man, which many of us aren't ruling out, it's very well possible that all of this was set up, that they done now. I don't know. They can't make Brian go out there. I don't know if they can fabricate phone pings. I know they aren't always accurate. But if they aren't fabricated and the phone pings aren't inaccurate, they can't make Brian go out there and drive around. But if he's out there driving around and they need a convenient suspect for a crime that they committed or a crime that they want to cover up for, and they find his phone out there pinging, I know I'm reaching here a lot because they would have already been watching him. They would have already had to have all this planned, and I already said they can't make him be out there driving around. But just y'all let all these other people reach. Let me reach a little bit. What if they just seen his phone pinging out there and said, oh, we got him? And I'm pretty sure I heard them say that his DNA was already in the system. This is why we don't just go out here, even Judge said this, don't just be going out here randomly giving these people, these companies your DNA. I'm pretty sure they say his DNA was already in the system from years ago for something that he did. So now they just go ahead and fabricate the DNA in a knife sheath. And something else that we're just overlooking, man. We don't know that this belonged to Brian. We just know that some DNA that they say is his was found on it, man. And it's not even DNA, bro. You got DNA, bro. You got DNA, bro. My girl got a picture of me in the car with another woman kissing her. That's DNA. I mean, come on, man. You got a picture of your lips, the girl. It got timestamps and everything. Ain't none of this fabricated. And it got a video too. That's DNA. Your homegirl telling you her homegirl said her homegirl seen me with another girl at the skating rink. That's not DNA, man. That's not DNA, and that's what they got. They don't have a picture of Brian kissing another girl in the car and they showing it to his girl. They got his homegirl saying she said his homegirl saw his homegirl with him at a skate. Bruh, we got to put that in context here because I see a lot of people saying it, but the Brian natives are trying to make us forget it. They don't have conclusive DNA. They got rumors of DNA. Basically, that's what they have. And my contention is what I'm setting forth here is, did they plant all of that after they found the phone pings and okay, now they think they have a nice story? Because a lot of us are believing this, and I'm telling you, y'all put this forth. That's why I make these videos, so I can read y'all comments and I stutter and stammer through all this, so I give it to y'all and it get y'all brain working. Then y'all put accurate and more intelligent stuff in the comments, and this is one of the things y'all said. They don't have a case. Trish, shout out to you, young lady. They're hoping Brian stands up and says, hey, this is what happened. This is why it was okay for y'all to arrest me. And this is how y'all can say I did it, whether he did it or not. That's why they're lingering, guys. They don't have a case. They've given us every damn thing that they have. And right now they're just fishing for more. They have pieces of what may be a case against a guy that may or may not have committed a crime. And they're looking for glue for it. That's it. Segue. A 9th supplemental request for discovery. I did some research on that, guys, because it does sound like Ann is still asking for evidence. Ann is still asking for evidence and they're refusing it. Well, I mean, that's the case. That's the case. But I did some research on it. I'm going to be honest with you. What she's asking for, what she's saying is this right here. They've given us discovery, and it's just basically a cover your base thing. And it's not wrong. It's not minimal at all. But I just want to put in the context what I discovered and found out in research that it is. They've given her discovery, whether they've given her all of it or not. But what she's saying with this supplemental request for discovery is, hey, I want to make sure that the discovery y'all gave us was complete and it was accurate. That is what a supplemental request for discovery is. So over and over and over again, Ann is saying, hey, I'm submitting these supplemental requests for discoveries because I want to make sure that what y'all have given us, I'm not saying she's not asking for more because they still have more to give. I'm not touching on that. I'm touching on the fact that from my research, what I've seen, and it's available online for you guys to go look at yourself, when she submits supplemental requests for discoveries, what she's saying is, I want to verify that what you've already given me is not incomplete and inaccurate. So I had to correct myself on that too, because when I first seen it, before I went back to researching to make this video, I thought she was asking for discovery. Now, let me be clear again before I jump to the next note. I'm not saying there's still not things that they have to turn over to her that she's asking for. I'm saying the supplemental request for discovery is her saying, what you've given us, and in the discovery, we want to make sure that it's not incomplete and not inaccurate. I already touched on the ID. I already touched on the supplemental request for discovery. I already touched on every note that I have, guys, and I'm at 28 minutes, so let's just see how much more I'm going to talk and make this video longer than it has to be. In conclusion, I still don't know if Brian is guilty or not. But the fact of the matter is, it is not on Brian to prove that he's innocent. I'm totally aware that 4 people lost their lives, and I'm never going to understate that. We can't get them back. We can't get the pain that their family feels and put it in the box and take it away from them and send it where they'll never, encounter it again. We can't do that. Their loved ones, man. We can't do that. We can't put them in the places that they used to be anymore, that their loved ones would go to and see them not there. We can't do any of that. I'm not ever going to understate that 4 human lives were taken in this situation, man. You know my baby? You thought I forgot about it? Marcelina, Cody, Madalena, Lena. all of the people that you keep up with, that you know have passed away, have been victimized by crime, we're never trying to understate what they went through, the experiences, and what's been lost. But we don't want to re-victimize or unnecessarily victimize people just to say that we got somebody and we got justice for these crimes. There has to be conclusive evidence, and that conclusive evidence, according to our justice system, has to be presented by the prosecution. The onus is not on the accused. That's just how things go. And I think that may be right. Now, that's something to consider in another video maybe, but I think that may be correct. If you're saying I did something, then yes, you should have to prove that I did it. It shouldn't be on me to answer to your accusations that I didn't commit a crime. That does seem a little ridiculous to me. And I'm saying all of that to say they have nowhere near come close to proving that Brian committed this crime. It's not even something to discuss. This is why they're running around hiding things. This is why they just always trying to get the media to plead their case for them. I don't have any proof that they're trying to get the media to do this. In certain ways, I feel like the media is representative of all of us, because we just take the side and see how blatantly, inconsistent and unjust they are in this situation. How many times in other cases do we behave just like them, where we have factually no proof that the people we're accusing are guilty of anything, but because it fits our narrative that they're guilty, we run around imitating Chris Cuomo and Nancy Disgrace and Ashley Should Be Banfield and the other chick, Coffee Out the Dog? How many times do we do that when it fits our narrative? So I think instead of just looking at them and saying, hey man, look at, I done said this before, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it damn again. Hey man, look at how wrong they are. They should be doing this, they need to stop doing this. Look at where you might be doing it at. Do you have facts that the people that you're accusing and insinuating are guilty and horrible? Do you have absolutely conclusive facts? The same way you want them to have it for Brian, do you have absolutely conclusive facts that these people are guilty? Or are you just doing your version of the horrible no-till media that we're always running against out here, man? They don't have a case against Brian, bro. If Brian committed this crime, then up until this point, he did it so immaculately that they can't prove it. And so far, they have not, man. That's the bottom line. That's where we begin and end at. And until they do, there's no way in hell that I could be involved, agree to, insinuate that this man should be found guilty, much less be sentenced to capital punishment, man. Innocent until. Y'all be safe out there. Thank you for listening to The Rambling. Brian has court this week and is going to ask for the charges to be thrown out. In my estimation, man, I'm not saying that it won't happen, but I am saying that in my inexpert opinion, I think this is just part of the process. I don't even know if she feels like it will actually happen, but this is a part of the process that she has to engage in so she can be an effective counsel. We'll see what will happen, man. Until then, I will be sporadically in and out, taking my mental health breaks myself. I'm not gonna, y'all know me, I'm not gonna fabricate content just to make, videos and put it out there, man. Once again, it's until. Y'all be safe. I'm out.
We are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him. And I want to remind you that that's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
The kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.